Hi, my name is Dylan Eckmeyer, and we are back with our second case study, Module 4. We are student group number 3, and this is the review of previous or similar studies to better understand our case. Our group decided to do an article on the palynological investigation of mummified human remains. This case, this article was to determine whether the mummified victim of the homicide was killed in the region of her Nebraska home or if her body was transported. Her cause of death was blunt force trauma. Her body was found laying face down on a carpet in the garage. The carpet is significant because this was used as the control sample for the ambient pollen, ambient meaning wind pollinated. The head of the victim was wrapped in plastic. This is significant because this protects the head and the hair from the ambient pollen. Another significance in the case was there was the van in the garage and it had New Mexico plates. This gave speculation that the body may have been moved after she was killed. And then the last significant piece of information is that their garage windows were sheeted, and this limited the pollen from the outside world coming into the garage. The first similar case that we found comes from a Jane Doe case back in 1981. They were working to identify the woman, and she was estimated to be in her late teens to early 20s. She was found in a ditch alongside the road in Ohio wearing blue jeans, a brown turtleneck sweater, and this tan leather pullover jacket that you can see pictured to the right. Tests were done on her clothing to detect pollen. The results showed that she may have spent time in the northeastern dry oak forest region, and that consists of states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Rhode Island. There was high levels of soot from either vehicles or industrial areas. So she either spent a lot of time in those areas, or there was a possibility that she was hitchhiking. And then pollen from a more arid region in the western United States or northern New Mexico is found on her jacket. And this goes back to the hitchhiking because they believe that she may have traveled from that area to the area where she was killed. The next similar case that we found was palynology used in a Texas murder in 1995. So for this one, the man's body was found dumped on the side of the road near Abilene, Texas. The man was stabbed 21 times and both of his hands were cut off. This was a problem because they couldn't detect who the man was based off fingerprinting because they didn't know where the hands were. And then most of his clothing was gone, but his shirt, his socks, and his shoes were still on him, so they were collected. Investigators went to the crime scene and collected pollen samples to test against the pollen found on his clothing. There was marijuana pollen found in large amounts on his shirt and socks. His socks and shoes had alder, which is the bottom left picture, and buffalo berry, which is the top right picture. These pollen samples did not match the pollen at the crime scene, so they believed that his body was transported after he was murdered, and they narrowed it down and found that alder and buffalo berry was native to the Kansas area, and they believe that he was killed in Kansas, transported down to Texas, and then dumped in Texas. I hope you enjoyed this section of the presentation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Student Group 3's case study. Thank you.